Yeah, it's that self motivation you have that is one of those tangible things that I don't think you can teach.
It I've talked to three or four of my really good friends that are in different phases of sort of their careers in the industry. And it's interesting because we had similar trajectories. We all started really small, and we built and we built and we built and we got bigger and we got bigger and we got bigger. And as we got bigger, our relationships with with the members of our team got further and further and further apart, and who we knew inside of the organization, inside of the space, it just got so far beyond what we were good at. What we were all good at was having a really good group of people, being able to find people with similar vision and similar passion and similar drive, and then pushing forward and then making that thing happen. And the further you get away from sort of that space, the harder it is to be able to continue to articulate what that vision is. And, having the same why as somebody else is a difficult thing to find yourself lined up to when you're four managers beyond the person you're talking to directly. So it's a challenge. The ideal world is you sit around with five people that are just geniuses, and you're the dumbest person in the world, and they all execute, and you sit back and go, I think this is a good idea, and then you move with it. But that's just not reality. It's certainly not reality in small business. Everybody in small business has to play those roles, and being able to sort of shape them and being able to give them a growth pattern that they're bought into, and that sort of stuff is the real challenge that we're running into now, because my space is bigger. But my friends that are retiring from these big giant places and they're going back, they're not retiring. They're starting additional companies, but they want to get back to what it felt like when it was sort of just three or four of them sitting around in a room trying to create something special and spin that up, rather than having these companies with hundreds of employees and stuff, because it's outside of the wheelhouse. And if you don't have somebody that's great at managing personnel, and you're not necessarily that person and you're more of a visionary, things get rougher and harder, and you get caught into the human element of what people are in the middle of that. And it's hard because humanity will slow down your vision a lot of times, for better or for worse. They're the reason for and the solution to the entire equation. When it comes to that sort of stuff, you need those people, but everybody that you have that's going along doesn't necessarily understand or have the same drive or the same loyalty or the same methodology as you do. And it's harder when you add more people to be able to get that. Like, I completely understand why there's things like the Google campus and the Amazon campus and that sort of stuff, and how they're sort of training towards a culture, because that's what it's about. But you have to sift through so many people, and the amount of work and the hours and the time that you spend mentoring and doing that sort of stuff. And then you get to the end and you're like, man, that was a great asset, but now they're moving on and it's not a good fit now. Or they were an amazing asset before, and the company has either expanded past them and they haven't been able to get in there and level up. And whether that's my responsibility as an owner to not be able to give them enough educational opportunities to do that, or their responsibility as an employee to not be curious enough to want to do more. I think there's culpability on both people's ends there. So this general manager being hired in to sort of do that and put those systems in place for me now has really been a godsend, because it's allowed me to go back into the lab and be able to do the stuff that I'm good at, which is moving the business forward in an innovative way that makes it special.